Cobalt Kinetics, a new project, AR-15 that I was working on, and this thing is now complete, so I wanted to share it with you all, and I wanted to explain why I sold my custom Noveski, or at least I'm in the process of selling it, and I did that in order to free up enough of the means in order to build this bad boy. So let's start off with why I chose Cobalt Kinetics. So aside from the aesthetics of the AR-15 being beautiful and streamlined, more importantly, it's built like a rock. So this is 70-75 aluminum. It's billet. Very high quality, very nice detail into the forming of the lower and upper, as you can see here. I mean, everything is cut just flawlessly. It's really a marvel to look at. So definitely a well-built, well-machined bit of aluminum over here. So that's one reason. The other reason why is because I wanted to make sure that whatever I was going to build next was going to be ready for competition type shooting, or at least to the degree where it was going to be, it was going to have a lot of the new high-tech features in order to assist the shooter and make them faster at what they do. Right? So not necessarily for me to go and enter a 3-gun competition, but just so that the common things like reloading, charging the bolt carrier, and then being able to exchange magazines and go through all that stuff really quickly and accurately without fumbling a lot of the controls and stuff like that. That's really what I was looking for. That's what sold me on Cobalt Kinetics, because you know, with all the ARs that are out there nowadays, including, you know, one that you put a lot of time and effort in building your own, it's still an AR. At the end of the day, it's like basically taking a Toyota Camry and throwing a shit ton of custom parts on it, but at the end of the day, it's still a Toyota Camry, right? But when you're trying to get something that is a little bit more refined, when it comes to, you know, some of the thought that goes around the basic functionality of an AR, and people that are trying to take it to another level and really advance some of the stuff that we've all come to know and realize is just part of every other AR, right? So Cobalt Kinetics has really been, you know, one of the only companies out there that are really putting in a lot of patents to try to figure out new ways to make the gun function more fluidly, make it more user-friendly, make it compatible to basically different calibers and stuff like that. But more importantly, to try to really bring something different to the platform. And this is definitely what you would call different. And I'll go over some of the reasons why, but first and foremost, let me cover some of the details about this particular weapon. So this is a Cobalt, this is called a Edge Scout. And the reason why I did not upgrade to an Edge or a Edge Team is because there were some features in there that were basically unnecessary, and they were definitely costing an arm and a leg. These are not cheap by any means, so that's one of the reasons why I figured the best way to do this is to start from more of a base level and add in the parts and pieces that I feel are essential or necessary in what I'm trying to do. So I highly recommend that, because you'll save yourself a lot, even if you don't spare any expense when it comes to the additions that you're putting into the gun. As long as the things that matter most to you are being incorporated, you can basically break the bank on all those other parts and still be cheaper than you know, a Team or a Evolve version of this gun. So keep that in mind. So for example, this is again the Edge Scout, and this retails for about $1,800. Okay, so $1,800 is about $2,000 shy of where the Edge Team rifle is at $3,800. All right, so the difference in what you're getting with the Edge Team is you're getting the CARS system. So the CARS is the acronym there, and what it stands for is basically the fast reloading, where you do not have a forward assist and you do not have a bolt catch. What you have instead is a system where as soon as you put a magazine into the well and it locks, the bolt will automatically move forward and lock into battery. And then when you're done shooting and you're empty your clip will actually fall, all right, without the need for a actual magazine release. And once that happens, the last round goes off and then the bolt locks back. And again, you go right through that same cycle. So you put the magazine back, bolt goes forward, you shoot your rounds, you get to the end of your magazine drops, bolt locks back, you pop in another magazine, and on you go. All right. I didn't want that because unless you're using a rifle for full-time competition, something that you would want to use in the real world is not going to be that's not going to benefit you in the real world, because obviously you want to have some sort of control over what happens with the magazine. You don't want just the magazine to drop. You may want to manually be able to lock back your bolt and slide, or you might want to forward assist it after the fact and not just have everything automatic without any buttons as a fail-safe, basically, to make sure that you don't have any problems with jamming and stuff like that. So anyways, point being is that I felt it's an awesome system, the card system, but it's not necessary and it's not essential to what I was looking for. So it was not necessary for me to spend all that extra cash for that. The other thing was that they have a guaranteed MOA basically barrel that they've got. And again, I'm not really looking for competition. I would totally understand the need for that upgrade and the definitely the worthiness of the extra cost, but that's gonna be for somebody that's literally trying to pinch 3 freaking holes into that size right there. So that's not what I'm trying to do. Again, I wanted something that was just going to be a little bit more convenient for the user, something that makes you faster, not necessarily more accurate. So this one still has a match grade barrel. It's still an excellent barrel, but it is not going to be the one that's on the Edge Evolve or on the Edge team. The muzzle brake was not this particular muzzle brake. This is the muzzle brake that makes the magic happen right here. This is the muzzle brake they do get with the team version of the rifle and the Evolve version of the rifle. You do not get it with the Edge Scout. It just comes basically with a threaded little, it's not even it's just a muzzle cap basically. And that's it, but we'll get into that later. And then the other difference with the team rifle is they come with the AR Gold triggers. And I was about to do that, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyways, they come with just about everything else is identical on the team version of the rifle. So again, this is a $2,000 savings over here. And then here's what I did to upgrade it. So first, I mentioned that the team version has the AR Gold trigger. What I did was at the suggestion of my gun dealer, he actually suggested that I go with the Timney Calvin Elite Trigger, and more for the purpose of getting a non-adjustable, which is what I wanted. I wanted something that's just not going to feel like it's getting loose on me and I have to keep adjusting. So this is a non-adjustable 1.5 pound pull trigger. What it does have that is adjustable is the trigger shoes over here. They've got a curved one. They've got the straight edge one with the lip. They've got a straight edge one without the lip. So they got some options for you. You can adjust this up and down, right? So if you want a lower pull or a higher pull, you can have that option. You can adjust the axis. You can turn it out to the left, turn it out to the right to make it feel closer to your trigger finger. You can change the axis here for forward and backwards. You can slide the trigger itself. So it's got a lot of cool adjustments there to get just the right feel around that pull. But most importantly is that the AR Gold trigger that was on the team rifle had a really crappy reset. It was not by any means something that was noticeable or something that is a definitive feel when you're getting that reset. The pull is beautiful, but the reset I just did not like. And this one's got a very crisp, very clean reset. Very audible. You can hear it easily. And the pull on this thing is just ridiculous. There's no movement before you get to the break wall. Basically, you break wall at 1.5 pounds, and that's it. And the reset is just literally probably like a millimeter up. So, with that said, that was a big component that I wanted to add in. The other thing I wanted to add in, again, I mentioned the muzzle brake is really where the magic happens. This is a $200 muzzle brake, and this is where most of the felt recoil is reduced on the team rifles. And again, this is not something that comes on anything but the team rifle or the Evolve rifle, and that's what I added on for $200 there. I also added on a this is a Hogue Pistol Grip. All right, so a nice soft grip that has the finger grooves, so it's nice and comfortable, and you have a very good firm hold on the rifle. I also added this. This is from the team gun as well. So this is their flared magwell component over here that just adds on to the bottom over here. You have to change out this trigger guard. That's all one piece basically. All right, and this gives you a nice flared magwell that you can easily pop magazines in and out of without having to look around too much to find that slot. So that was a $50 component right here. This trigger, the Timney that I was mentioning, the Calvin Elite, it's a $300 trigger. This is a $45 Hogue grip. I've got, what I liked about it too is that it has a really nice charging handle. So this is a WMD, excuse me while I flip this thing around. Okay. This is a WMD Nickel Boron bolt and carrier group. And this is a big time upgrade over what came on the Edge Scout, and really what comes on some of the team and Evolve rifles, because I've noticed that some of them do not have the nickel boron, although they do have high quality bolt carriers. But the nickel boron is almost a necessity in my eyes, just because of the smoothness of the action is definitely something that is noticeable, and it's worth getting it again for recoil reduction and for less wear and tear, because this is self-lubricating. And then finally, this is the Odin Works extended mag release button, and they do have these on most of the team and the Evolve series rifles. So all in all, I put on, as you can see here, this some Meprolight Sure Dot right over here. So very, very nice holographic sight as compared to something like an EOTech, where with this one you've got some battery saving options. I feel like it's a I don't know. I feel like it's a nicer design, but more importantly, I feel like this one's easier to manage than the EOTech. I like the control functionality is a little bit better. It's just a little knob at the top over here. So this knob will control your brightness and then your offsetting. If you forget it on, it will go off by itself within, I think, 15 minutes or so. And if you then move it into a firing position, so if you move the rifle and you put it in a firing position, it'll kick back on automatically. That's a nice feature. So you know, EOTechs don't have that, so a lot of people go through the whole you know, problem with basically, you know, running out of battery because you left it on and you forgot to turn it off. Got the Strike Industries AFG right there. It's an aluminum AFG. I felt looked perfect with the streamlined handguard over here. And that's about it. But, you know, if you're not familiar, I can't do this one-handed. I'm going to put the camera down for a second. So, if you're not familiar with one of the beautiful additions that Cobalt has made to their AR platform, it's this forward assist that's ambidextrous, as you can see. So you got one on each side. Doesn't matter if you're a righty or a lefty. But the trick is that instead of having to jam the bolt release on the left-hand side, you can potentially just take your forward assist and boom, right? So your forward assist will actually be your bolt release. And that way, it's also a forward assist. You can use it for that as well. But more importantly, it will release the bolt. You're not going to need a bad lever. You're not going to need to jam the left side of the gun. So it saves time. And again, the felt recoil on this thing, I haven't shot it yet, but the felt recoil on this thing is supposed to be next to nothing. It's supposed to be similar to a 22. So I'm dying to see that. I love this this unibody aluminum stock that comes on these things, and then they do have the adjustable one. It's like $320. So the only thing I really want to finish off with this rifle is going to be the buffer system that comes on the Team and Evolve rifles. The buffer system is another thing that reduces the felt recoil. It's one of the more advanced things that Cobalt's been working on in order to perfect this rifle. So that was really it for me. The most important things for me to upgrade to an Edge Scout that you know, we're going to get it to as close to the Team rifle without breaking the bank as possible. We're going to be the magwell, the trigger, the bolt carrier group, the muzzle brake, which is probably most important, and the new buffer system and spring that's going to be in here. And that's something I'm going to add on over time here because I'm running out of cash here. But anyways, everything else is pretty much Team rifle, with the exception of, like I said, the barrel. That's not important to me. But everything else on this rifle is super, super high quality. And it's a beautiful looking rifle. It definitely looks modern and up to date with you know, with what you would expect to find in 2017. The Cerakote that's on here in gray, it's a tungsten gray. It's beautiful. It's a flawless you know, Cerakote that's on here. Like I said, the machine work on these things is next to none. It's just you know, it's incredible. So, or second to none, I should say. So very, very pleased with it. I'm going to shoot it and hopefully do a follow-up video just to kind of give you guys a an idea of what this thing functions like. But until then, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments area, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Cobalt Kinetics Edge Scout on steroids.